This is a day the universe is going to teach you that you don't have any control. Okay? You think you have control? There's no control. Control is a misconception of the mind. It's actually I think a fallacy of the mind. It likes to think that it can control things. There is likely outcomes for things, but nothing is guaranteed. But the mind likes to think that it's guaranteed, right? Because we need certainty. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast, where practical spirituality meets real life. Hi, I'm your host, She Tells Story. I'm a psychic medium, grief support counselor, professional astrologer, and a human design reader, and of course, a law of attraction master coach. With my unique blend of spiritual and practical tools, I am here to help you align with your soul-led purpose and ignite a life that sets your soul on fire. In this podcast, we are going to explore the principles of energy, astrology, spirituality, and psychology to help you heal your grief and create an aligned life and business from the inside out. Whether you are looking to deepen your intuition, understand your cosmic design, or transform your business, this podcast is for you. Join me each week for insightful discussions, practical tips, and inspiring stories that will guide you on your journey to living your very best life. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram at She Tells Story or wherever you listen to this podcast. Let's dive in and start this transformative journey together. Welcome to the Story of Spirit podcast. Welcome to the Astro Forecast for the week of October 6th through to the 12th. This is an exciting week. We start out the week in a second quarter phase of the moon because we are literally starting on a full moon. But we start out the week in a Pisces moon, and then it goes into Aries, and then we have a full moon in Aries later on the day in Monday. What this means is this moon in Pisces is setting the energy for the week in terms of our emotions, the way that we are feeling kind of in our connections, in our emotional reactions to things. And a Pisces moon is very sensitive, right? It is the most empathic, the most intuitive, the most, I'm going to say, porous of all of the water signs. So this is going to imply that you will definitely need boundaries this week with regards to what you are feeling and who you are feeling it from. Your only job is to feel your own feelings, to process your own feelings, and to allow them to move through, right? An emotion really lasts chemically in your body 90 seconds. But the way the mind then makes meaning from that lasts longer. So we really want to just be in the feeling and name, I am feeling this. I am feeling sad. I am not sad, right? You are not your emotion. You are experiencing the emotion. So really, really using that this week. That is totally channeled for you. That's not in my notes. I am feeling, I'm not sad, I'm feeling sad. In this moment, I'm feeling sad because, right? You can write that out in a journal. You can talk that out in your car. I like to call the car the office, right? It's your car office, and you can talk it out in your car. You can talk it to yourself. If you drive past me and I've got my arms waving and I'm talking, I might not be on the phone. I might be actually just talking to myself, just wave and honor the office. So I honor the office in you if you decide to use that for yourself. So we start out the week with a very potent energy on Monday, October 6th, with a full moon at 14 degrees of Aries at 11:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is almost at the end of the day. And this energy is actually happening right after Mercury moves into Scorpio. So Mercury moving through Scorpio is actually first on the day. But I wanted to talk about the full moon being there because it is going to be a major contributing factor to what's going to happen with Mercury. So Mercury is now moving into Scorpio from Libra. This is a very different energy. Mercury is our mind, our thought processing, our communication connection. It's our siblings, it's our cousins, it's our connection to our, kind of nearby community. It's our coordination. So it's a really important part of us. It's called a personal planet because it makes up our personality and how we feel. So we really pay attention to these personal planets. And Mercury moving from Libra, which is about communicating with fairness and kindness and peace and trying to figure out win-win situations, very charming, very Venusian. It's a time where we feel like we're trying to find harmony through our words. Now into Scorpio. Scorpio is fixed water. It is the depth, the water at the bottom of the ocean that holds all the secrets. So this is the energy of transformation, of generational trauma, of death rebirth. Something has to die for something new to come up, right? This is not easy energy, but it is necessary energy. This is something we all go through. Grief is part of Scorpio. And, I guess you could sort of argue of all the signs, it probably also was with transcendence and spirituality. Could be Pisces as well. It's healing. But Scorpio, very much, I would say grief is very much scorpionic because it changes us, right? These are the things that change us. So a Scorpio Mercury wants to talk about things that are deep, that are passionate, that matter. We're not sitting here talking about the weather, right? And we like to talk about taboo subjects, things that are off sort of off limits with society, right? Politics, sex, your boogers, right? Like, how are things working for your plumbing downstairs? Like, these are Scorpio things. That's why I have a Scorpio rising. I can talk about all these things. They come up in sessions all the time. Sexual positions, poo, your mucus, like, whatever. It's all part of you, right? And I think one of my, I'm going to say superpowers, is that I don't make it weird. I don't make it weird. Whatever. You can talk about all the things. It's part of who you are. It's part of being a human, right? What's weird about that? People's uncomfortableness interest me because it says somewhere in your family you inherited this, right? Babies just talk about stuff. Why is that booger hanging out of your nose? You're like, oh my God. Babes just tell it like it is, right? And then we start to add the ego on. Oh, can't talk about that. That feels embarrassing. Oh, I won't belong if I have a booger hanging out of my nose. I mean, honestly, no one wants a booger hanging out of their nose, but my love language is telling you got a booger hanging out of your nose, right? How many people will go by letting you with a booger in your nose walk through your day and you go home and you're like, oh my God, how long has that been there? Or replace booger in your nose with spinach in your teeth. Like, I'm going to say it because I personally would love to know. And you know what? And I don't make it weird. I'm like, yeah, you got a booger hanging on your nose. Here's a Kleenex. So, okay, let's go back to the talk that we were talking about. You know what I mean? Go, whatever. It doesn't have to be weird. So, Mercury entering Scorpio deepens connection, communication through process, encouraging investigation, insight, and uncovering hidden truths. Conversation may become more intense, probing, and emotionally charged. Your mind is sharper for research, strategy, and deep reflection. It's a time to speak less and listen more, letting intuition guide your mental energy. Because it's a water sign, it is very deeply intuitive. Pay attention to what is coming up from your mind into your awareness. So then we also have on Monday, Mercury in conjunct to Jupiter, and this is in play during the full moon as well. And this Mercury in conjunct to Neptune, this makes our judgment very clouded. This is a feeling. Neptune is the fog. It is spirituality. It is connection to the higher self. But when we have this empathy and compassion as well, lots of beautiful things with Neptune. But when it's in a challenging situation, which I would say an inconjunct is challenging, you have it becomes the fog. It becomes misunderstanding. It can feel like you are making things look more rosy, rose colored glasses, idealization. That was the word I'm looking for. So this aspect creates tension between clear strategic thinking and idealism, dreaminess, and kind of the mysticism. Like, it's the fog, it's confusion. Mental fog and miscommunication may occur. The intuition can feel confusing or unreliable. So avoid making firm decisions or commitments now. Instead, observe and reflect. And that, my friends, is the biggest, I'm going to say, advice that I can give you for this week, especially Monday and Tuesday, and Sunday as well, if you're listening to us on Sunday. So it is really important. I'm going to say it again. is not making firm decisions or commitments, saying, I'll get back to you, or let me think about that. If you feel triggered by something that's coming up now, say, try to hold your tongue if you can and go away with yourself. Feel the emotions, name it. I'm feeling irritated, angry, jealous, whatever it is. Journal about where is this coming from? What is this reminding me of? Own your stuff. I wanted to use another word, but own your stuff. And then avoid making firm decisions or commitments or blurting out something that later you're going to regret. And instead, observe and reflect. Think of it as mist rolling over your mind. Insight may emerge if you remain patient and grounded. Patient and grounded, really needed this week. Okay. No flying off the handle, not getting ticked off because somebody did something to you. And now you're like, I'm going to tell you what's what. You know, we're going to really be grounded and mindful today and this whole week. And this Mercury in conjunct to Neptune, and in conjunct is a 150-degree angle, meaning there's a need for adjustment. And they're both at 0 degrees. 0 degrees is a critical degree. It means that we are just coming into this sign. We're trying to sort out how we feel in this area. So it can feel very wobbly. I always think of it as like a baby giraffe trying to walk on its legs. You know, we're trying to sort out how does this feel to be in a deep emotion and not try to over rationalize it, to just be in the emotion, right? That's at 0 degrees of Scorpio coming in from Libra. And then the 0 degrees in Aries coming in from Pisces. This, like, well, it's not quite yet, but it's retrograding. It's going to go into Pisces. But the 0 degree of Aries is kind of understanding the spirituality and this sensitivity. And then this Aries fire is like, what? Right? Like, what are you thinking? Are you going to try to do this to me? So it can be very triggery when actually we don't know what's really happening here and we're not owning our stuff in the mix. We have to own our place, our accountability in the feelings that we're feeling. What is this reminding us of? Where's my trigger? Because a trigger is an unmet need. What's the need I'm not meeting in this moment, or what I'm perceiving this person is not meeting for me? But the truth of the matter is, if you don't meet your own need, no one else can meet your need. It's kind of a thing, right, for healing. So as we get into then the full moon at 11:48 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 10:48 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, or 9:48 p.m. Pacific Time on the West Coast. So it's happening in the evening on Monday. And this full moon in Aries illuminates your independence, courage, and personal initiative. This is the culmination of intentions that you set during the new moon in Aries on March 29th. So look back to March 29th, at the end of March. What were you going through? What were you thinking about? What were you planting seeds for? What intention did you set back then? And bring insights and results into sharper focus by understanding what themes were in play then and what is in play now. Because this is a 6-month cycle of completion. And then we will go over the next 6 months back into a new moon stage sometime end of March, beginning of April in 2026. Emotional intensity may surface, highlighting where you've grown, where you still need to reclaim your power, and use this energy to celebrate achievements, release what no longer serves, and step into bold new beginnings. So this is that, that energy of that Mercury at 0 degrees of Scorpio, and in conjunct that Neptune is like, there's something coming up now for you to see it. They're going to be a trigger, right? Full moons have the sun and the moon opposite each other in the zodiac, exactly to the second. So we have this opposition of the head and the heart, or our identity and our emotion, right? Our egoic, like who we feel we are, and our emotional, intuitive, nurturing self, right? The masculine and the feminine. They're sitting on the opposite sides of the zodiac. And the way that we integrate these two things is by focusing it on something. So a really great way to think about this is when you're focusing these things on a problem, if they are not aligned, your emotional side and your egoic side, you're going to have a clash that is going to bring up something in an adversarial type of situation. So you're going to start to get triggered. And we want to trigger again is an unmet need. So we want to really sit, what is the unmet need? And where did this start in my life? Because this is just an echo of a time that has passed, of a need that we perceived or a belief that we perceived about ourselves, about a situation, about a person, about a population that we are now experiencing once again. So, this is an opportunity to see that in a different way and to step into a new timeline versus replaying the old timeline, the old patterns. Welcome to full moons, my friends. So, this is a very transformative time. And, at this time, there isn't really anything else in play with the full moon. There's other things obviously in play. Mercury is square to Pluto, but we'll see that kind of come up later in the week as well as it becomes exact. So your mind is very sharp and very focused on things that are below the surface. So this is when used to your advantage, right? This is the weather. You can put on a rain jacket and go out into the rain and be prepared, or you can walk under the rain and say, screw the rain, right? And screw this weather and life sucks. And I'm trying to give you the umbrella. I'm trying to give you the rain jacket. So the rain jacket here is to notice what you're picking up on, right? Like I'll give you the example. If I'm sitting with my husband and I'm picking up on his breathing, on the way that he's chewing, on the way that he's living life, I might get annoyed. I might get super annoyed. But really, when I look back and go, okay, wait a second, this man is lovely. He's like the mother of my husband and my children, the man of my dreams. He's everything I've ever wanted and more. And people got to chew, people got to breathe. And the alternative is no chewing, no breathing. I'm really happy that he's alive. And why do these little noises bother me? Well, because I kind of like it quiet, or I'm used to my own silence. But I also have noises I make, right? So we can start to talk ourselves through this instead of being annoyed. You can start to kind of be your own therapist, if you will, at this time, because your mind is so sharp. It's going to notice details. It's going to want to go into perfectionism. And you, my friends, are not perfect. I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry I had to be the one to break this to you. I'm saying it with lots of love. You make noise too. You might breathe loud too. It's okay. You're still lovable. You still deserve to exist. So, and if it annoys you, okay, it annoys you. But the alternative is then this person isn't here. And I know so many people who have gone through grief and said, I miss those noises now. I wish they were here. So I have to remind myself every time I'm annoyed. This is called self coaching. This is called self regulating. So, where can you self regulate this week? All right, on Tuesday, October 7th, we have Mercury in conjunct to Uranus. So, this is going to be, again, Mercury in conjunct anything is a destabilizing energy. And again, everything for an opportunity, right? So, this is unexpected mental shifts, surprises, or sudden insights may arise. Communication may feel erratic, disruptive, and your thoughts could jump around from idea to idea. This is a day for adaptability, mental flexibility, rather than control. I just heard Spirit say something I'm going to share with you in a moment. Allow for breakthroughs, but avoid impulsive decisions that could backfire. So, this is a day the universe is going to teach you that you don't have any control. Okay? You think you have control? There's no control. Control is a misconception of the mind. It's actually I think, a fallacy of the mind. It likes to think that it can control things. There is likely outcomes for things, but nothing is guaranteed. But the mind likes to think that it's guaranteed, right? Because we need certainty to create stability in our life. That's why we build routines into our life, right? You brush your teeth with a certain hand every day. You like a certain burner on the stove, right? You drive a certain route home. Like, we like patterns. We like things to be in certain ways, and that gives us stability. Today, the universe will test you. There is no certainty in today, my friends. So, unexpected mental shifts and surprises. So the weather, the umbrella, the good thing in this is that you can be open to insights and downloads and wonderful kind of ingenious ideas. This can bring through ingenious ideas. And if you choose today to break up your habits, choose your left hand instead of your right hand, choose the other burner on the stove, notice what happens. You will adapt. You might even grow some new neurons, who knows? So today, if you don't want to do that, don't do it. It's fine, but being aware that anything that is sort of your perception of control, or anything that you might do in terms of patterns, like you're drive. Spirit just showed somebody on this podcast is listening to this podcast is going to have the experience where they're driving to work and their normal route that they take to work is closed. Either it's an accident or it's construction, but something is going to close the route and you have to go in a different way. If that's you, I'm going to encourage you to reach out to me and say, it's me. You were talking about me on the podcast. I would love to know. That's a download I got from Spirit. I saw a detour, detour, detour. So you're going to be detouring to and from work. And you know what? You might find a new donut shop. Or you might be like, oh my God, that's where I used to go to whatever, who knows? I think watch out on the detour for something brilliant, a diamond, or something gold in your day that you never would have experienced had you gone the regular route. So trust, universe is always guiding you. Everything is by divine design. All detours are important and on purpose. Also on Tuesday, October 7th, we have Mercury square to Pluto, which we kind of talked about already. Powerful, intense thinking is highlighted when Mercury squares Pluto. Conversations may uncover deep truths. This is great for uncovering secrets, research, getting more evidence to prove whatever you're trying to prove. It's like a dissertation or you're doing a paper or writing a post on something. This is really great for going deep into something. And also deep dialogue is possible now. There's an aspect in play right now where things can get misconstrued. So I'm going to say this is not a great time to have a deep conversation about things that are triggering. So if something triggered on Monday, Tuesday, not the day. Not the day, my friends, to have the conversation with, I want to talk to you about how I felt when you did. And they're going to be like, yeah, deal with it. They're not going to be accountable or being able to take that into account. Unless, of course, you have something more specific in your chart. But I would say it's just not. If I was going to pick a really good day, today would not be the day to do that. So, yes, this intensity, you can use this to get to the depth of something. This is about transformation through dialogue, bring deep insights, but also control struggles and obsessive focus on details. This is the part, the obsessive focus on details, the chewing, the breathing, the parts where, things aren't perfect, that can come to mind. Staying mindful of emotional intensity and use it to investigate and uncover clarity rather than dominate. Use it to uncover clarity rather than dominate. Really important. Something that I feel like this is going to be important for someone listening, is I had a conversation with my mom where I feel like everything in my life, like as soon as I get something new that's like big, a high ticket, it gets damaged. And I don't have anything that's quote unquote perfect, right? So my car has a slight damage to the left-hand side mirror. Our house has a few dings, things just always happen that things happen. Like one of my favorite chains has a knot in it and I can't get it out. And I was like, I just have to accept that things aren't perfect. And my mom's like, yeah. And think of it as a blessing from the universe that it would call it sort of a black mark. It's like, it repels evil eye, that like it took the jealousy out from the universe in essence. But my mom said, be grateful that the universe is protecting you. And I said, that's interesting, right? That we have created this belief that if it's perfect, we could get the evil eye, we could get the jealousy, the, people thinking, coveting what we want or thinking that we're better than we are. So if we have things that are slightly defective, you might not have that feeling anymore. And people made that feel like it's a good thing. So we've created this mindset that not having things perfect is okay. It's actually a blessing. But I actually think it's a blessing because I still have the thing. And it's okay. It's still functional. It's still amazing. And nobody else sees this defective thing. Like even in the chain, it's in the back. No one can see it, right? Even the mirror, nobody knows because it's slight. It's very, very slight. Like everything, even like the dings in the house, we see it, but nobody else does because it's like in the basement or it's places where the kids have high traffic, So what are you really noticing and who is it important to? A message that came in from Spirit. All right, Wednesday, October 8th, we have Venus sextile to Jupiter. This is a glorious breath of fresh air in some of this more heavy energy for the week. This aspect brings harmony, generosity, ease in relationships, and financial matters. So your natural charm and practical support are amplified. Opportunities for meaningful collaboration, generosity, and self-care present themselves. Emotional warmth and gratitude will make interactions smoother and more fulfilling. So be careful with this energy of people pleasing and taking on too much. You can sort of either overcompensate. Oh, I just saw a ladybug crawling on my window. So I feel like the ladybug is for someone else listening here. If the ladybug's for you, DM me ladybug, and I'll just make thank you so much. Wild. Spirit said to say ladybug as well. So coming back to Venus sextile Jupiter, this is emotional warmth and gratitude, making interactions smoother and more fulfilling, expand impact through kindness, service, and generosity. So this is a Virgo aspect with a Cancer aspect. So this is very much like service with heart, right? So choosing your yeses from a place of like yes from heart, but also practicality. Virgo is very practical. How does it fit in your schedule? What is the outcome here? How much energy is going to be required at the time that you have to fulfill on this? Yes, is it going to still feel good, right? Really put yourself in that future timeline of what will it feel like to fulfill on this promise or this yes that I'm saying? What is the true cost of this? Because a yes over here is going to mean no to something else either on that day or requires that energy. And then finally, the last aspect for the week is a potent one. And it is on Saturday, October 11th, but you're going to feel it this whole week. You will feel it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So it's a full week. And it's Venus opposite Saturn. And Saturn is retrograde now in Pisces. So this Venus in Virgo opposite Saturn in Pisces retrograde, this is challenges to love, finances, and self-worth. Old patterns around responsibility, boundaries, and worthiness are going to surface now. You may feel restrictions in relationships or creative expression. Use this aspect to reassess commitments and bring structure to emotional and financial matters. So, reevaluating your relationship dynamics and financial habits. I like to say under this aspect, and it comes in about once a year, depending if Venus is retrograde. But this is a great time to take a relationship inventory. And the inventory is, does this relationship fill my bucket or empty my bucket? Or sometimes it's a little bit of both, right? But mostly, does it fill my bucket or does it empty my bucket? And we all have relationships in our lives with people who empty our bucket, but it's kind of necessary because it's part of dynamics, right? It's family, it's children, it's whatever, parents, right? We're going to have those dynamics, especially if you have teenagers. You're going to go through bouts of it emptying your bucket, but you can't cut them out of your life. This is about managing your energy in those relationships. And in the relationships where you can manage that, you really can take an inventory and say, how much of my time is this actually worth? So notice if you do a relationship inventory, it might feel a little ruthless, but we are still kind of in Libra season here. So you might have a hard time with it, but we're going to enter into Scorpio season soon. So channel that Scorpio energy and be like, let's actually take an inventory here of what relationships serve me and what relationships harm me, and what relationships maybe feel neutral, that it's a little bit of both, right? And just noticing, right? I have been actively minimizing the relationships that do not serve me, actively. And is that easy? No. But I notice how much happier I am. And I notice how I started to ask about alignment, right? Alignment in values, alignment in goals, and alignment in financial matters, and alignment in kind of big vision for the world and how we act. We are in activism. And some people I added back in again, some people I've taken out. So, I mean, it's not working, it's a recalibration, right? It's always in motion. It's a working document, so to speak. But you just notice who really fills your bucket and who doesn't. And I mean, I can obviously say, like, there's times when I go for brunch and I could like push the car home, or like the event that I just did, for spirit messages. I was on cloud nine. I literally could have pushed the car home. I had so much energy after connecting with spirit for an hour, 2 hours, like actually it was like 2 hours, all in. And it was not draining in any way. And even the person I did it with, amazing. I love her so much. There's just been so many people that are amplifiers in my life. And I like to think of myself as an amplifier too. I give in every relationship. And in the relationships that I'm not perceived to be giving, perfect. Probably not for me, right? So Venus opposite Saturn is a constrictor. It's about relationships, scarcity, fear, What are you here to do? Are you being responsible and active to your heart-led mission, Pisces? And it's going to remove guises. It's going to remove the rose-colored glasses that you had on earlier in the week, and it's going to give you the flat-out truth. So something is going to come in today that's going to show you where you're spending your money, where you're spending your energy, where you're spending your awareness and time that is actually not serving you. It's taking from you, right? It's making you more poor, time poor, money poor, relationship poor. And you get to serve yourself and choose something different. So fear of rejection or emotional restriction can come up during this time, but I'm going to say constriction as well. And if you have this feeling that if you have anxious attachment where you take your belonging and value from other people, this is going to be a very triggering time for you, because it's a time now to step into your own value. It's to give that to yourself, to know that you are the diamond, and that you're not here to look for that diamond in anyone else to give that to you. This is going to really trigger you if you're looking for your worth in other people's yes, in the yes that you say because you think that's going to make other people like you. You're going to find out. You're going to find out very, very soon after this date. So be very mindful in who you say yes to and what you're saying yes to. And these commitments in the long term. Saturn is about long-term commitments and responsibility and authority, being your authority, being your own, listening to your spirit, Pisces. And are you actually doing the thing for you or for other people? I mean, there's an element of doing things for other people that we also need to be mindful for. And yes, that's okay as well. But again, you have to weigh the pros and cons about what it's taking away from in the rest of your life. So this is a very potent week, my friends, and you get to use it to your highest and best for all concerned. I've given you the tools. Go forth and have an amazing week. Elevate yourself and the people around you. And when you choose yourself, or when you choose things that bring you joy, you amplify the relationships that are in your life. And when you release people that don't bring you joy, you release them to other people who do bring them joy, or who do make them feel good about themselves, or continue to amplify who they are. And you're now bringing in new energy for that. So it's good. It's all good. But again, your mind might be like, this isn't certain. This isn't the old pattern that we're used to. Good. That's okay. That uncertainty coming in the earlier side of the week is going to help you create a new pattern and bring in new brilliance and genius ideas for something better to come. Have a great week. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Story of Spirit podcast. I hope you have found inspiration, support, and practical insights to help you align with your soul-led purpose and live a life that sets your soul on fire. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast, leave a review, and share it with a friend. Your support helps us to reach more listeners and continues to provide valuable content. I sincerely appreciate every share, and I know it is how most people find me. It is because caring people like you have shared me with them at the right and perfect time. For more resources, insights, and to connect with our community, please visit us at www.shetellstory.com and follow us on Instagram at shetellstory. Remember, your journey to a more aligned and vibrant life is just the beginning, and I am here to support you every step of the way. Until next time, stay aligned, stay inspired, and keep shining your beautiful light. This is She Tells Story, signing off from the Story of Spirit podcast. Here's the legalese that's required by our lawyers. This podcast and the YouTube channel represents the opinions of She Tells Story and her guests to the show. The content should not be taken as medical, psychological, or financial advice. This series is informational and entertainment purposes only. Because each person is so unique, please consult your healthcare professional, your mental health dream team, your financial advisor, or anyone else that's an expert in the field in where you are thinking of making big choices in your life.